Dormammu, I've come to bargain. In this video, I'll be showing you a Divination Wizard build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, this is the closest thing that we can get to a Doctor Strange, despite him being the Sorcerer Supreme in Baldur's Gate 3, because the Divination Wizard can control dice rolls with their Portent ability, which is actually kind of cool. Now, you will get a lot of prompts pop up on screen when you play as this, but being able to control dice rolls is very powerful, and you basically become a keeper of a time stone yourself. So I'll be going through the full build here, and starting first, we're going to be choosing our cantrips. So I'm a big fan of Minor Illusion to group enemies together or to steal from them. You can kind of lure them away. Mage Hand's also really nice. If we're going to be using things like Ray of Frost, we can actually use a Mage Hand to throw water bottles to set up vulnerability to lightning and cold damage. I think Shocking Grasp is an essential for a wizard because this will give the target the ability to not use their reaction so you can run away, which is really nice if you get kind of surrounded and you need to stop someone from attacking. Ray of Frost, probably the best cantrip in this game. And go with either Mage Hand or Minor Illusion. If you're the face of the party, Friends is also really great. So one of these three, I'm going to go with I'm going to go Mage Hand for this at the start. Now, as for our spells, we got to choose some that are going to help us stay alive. So Shield and Magic Missile being two essentials. Shield will increase your armor class by 5 and prevent damage from Magic Missile. And this is guaranteed to hit, so it's really good. Early on in the game, Sleep's really good because you can put 3 goblins to sleep, so don't be afraid to take that. Long Strider is nice to be able to increase movement speed. I think Chromatic Orb is a very essential spell to take because this can be changed damage type, giving you multiple different options early on. Thunder Wave for the pushback is huge, and then once we get the Portent dice, you can actually make it so they fail their save, and you can knock them flying. That is very satisfying to do. I think that's one of the best uses for the Portent dice early on. Grease is also pretty nice, but I think it's better to go with like Find Familiar, because having the birds is really nice to blind targets. And Fog Cloud is also a great concentration to kind of screw up the enemy's plans. As for our ability scores, we're going to want to have our intelligence very high. Dexterity is also pretty important because it's going to give us armor class, so we can take it up to 14. Having Constitution at around 16 would be ideal to give us a little bit more health because we are very squishy as a wizard. And then taking your intelligence down 1 point to allow you to put 2 points in the wisdom to give you the just +0 to wisdom saves is big because we don't want to fail those. So we'll go with this for our spells or for our ability scores. As for our skills, you can go with whatever suits your own role-playing ability. So we'll just go with that there. I'll be going over gear at the end of this video, so you can stay tuned for that. Now, through the leveling, at level 2, this is when we get to choose our subclass of the Divination. It also is an eyeball, kind of like the Doctor Strange's little Eye of Agamotto. Kind of works out well. So we get ourselves the Portent dice. Your dreams grant you the glimpses into the future and let you influence the future. After each long rest, you gain 2 random Portent dice. During the day, you can use them to change any attack roll, saving throw, yada yada yada. So yeah, 2 per long rest, pretty nice. That's our big, wonderful class feature. As for our next leveled spells, I would say that Ice Knife's not bad, and Grease is good crowd control. It really depends on your team's makeup. Grease can be good if you go more fire focused, and then Ice Knife's good if you got Create Water and want to deal with the extra damage shenanigans from that. I think for prepared spells, this is pretty solid. You can put in Fog Cloud instead of Thunder Wave too. That's another option you can go with, but this gives us the ability to change our damage type, get a guaranteed hit, have a pushback, have a summon, and have shield for survivability, so that is pretty solid. At level 3, we get to choose our level 2 spells, and I think there's a few that stand out a lot. Both Scorching Ray and Hold Person are incredible. Now, you can start to learn them from scrolls too, so if you can find a Misty Step scroll, that's massive, because Misty Step just gives us a lot of survivability. Hold Person, attacks within 3 meters of critical hits. This is a spell attack roll, so we can crit on our Scorching Ray. So these two go hand in hand together. And as for our prepared spell, I would say to put on Hold Person if you have a team full of martial classes, because fighters can go up and deal a lot of damage against that. But Scorching Ray is guaranteed consistent damage early on. Maybe go something like that. The Wizard is kind of like less offensive than a Sorcerer, but still a very powerful class nonetheless. I think Minor Illusion, Bone Chill is also good to stop the target from healing, but I think Minor Illusion just brings more benefit. And for our next leveled spell, I think it's best to go with Misty Step here. Misty Step is just incredible. And then also Darkness is a really great spell too to have. This gives us a bit of a buff over our Fog Cloud there. But I think best just to take maybe a Misty Step, and then you can put Thunderwave back on it next level, or you can shuffle the spells around depending on what you want. Now, as for our first feat, it's best to go with full intelligence here. We want to get that up as high as we can because it's going to give us higher hit chance and a whole slew of other benefits. Now, level 5 has a couple really great spells. So there's Fireball, the consistent 8d6 fire damage. Lightning Bolt, which is 8d6 lightning damage, which can be doubled with Create Water. So that's really nice. Another benefit to having this is it's in a straight line, so you can line up targets and make sure you kill them with it. It's really great for that because you can really be smart with your positioning, whereas Fireball is just a huge area of effect. I also really like to have Counterspell. This just goes perfectly with the Divination Wizard, so we might actually just go with that. Haste is great, but I prefer that a Sorcerer takes it because they can twin it to 2 people. And then Glyph of Warding is a good non-concentration damage spell as well, so I think best spell choices would be somewhat like this for level 3, giving us some early game damage options, and Thunderbolt, Lightning Bolt, and then Counterspell. So yeah, we'll roll with that. Now level 6, we get Expert Divination. You may regain an additional Portent dice when taking a short rest. So at short rest, you get a Prophecy, which gives you the chance to get an extra one, which sometimes is good. Sometimes it's like, take out an enemy, or deal lightning damage, or something like that. But other times it's a little bit more challenging. Speaking from experience, it can be kind of frustrating at times. You get a rough roll, but next level, Fireball, everyone's favorite, and Glyph of Warding is a great choice as well. Haste is good if you don't have a Sorcerer, but Haste is really nice to have a Sorcerer applied to others. It is a concentration, however, so Glyph of Warding can be a good choice just to be able to lay that down on the ground and then have your Fireball dropped on top of it as well for a little extra damage. And for our prepared spell, I would recommend taking Fireball. Just the usefulness of that. If you see a bunch of enemies grouped together, drop it down on them. Now at next level, I think it's best to take our Minor Elemental because that's just a good choice for survivability. Having 2 extra minions to take hits for your team is huge. I also really like Ice Storm because this can create ice surfaces, which will trip the enemy at times and interrupt their concentration. So that can be really good. But Confusion's another good choice for more of a crowd control focus. Even Wall of Fire, some people really like Wall of Fire. It does a little bit less damage than Fireball, but this is a concentration. And also a bit of crowd control. So you could go with that instead of Ice Storm. It's really whatever one of those 2 you prefer. And then for our prepared spell, Minor Elemental. Super good. There's Mud methods, Ice methods, and then an Azure, which is a fire element, kind of like a fire dude. I think taking Confusion and Ice Storm is the choice to go with here. And then for our extra one, we can take Fireball. If you don't use Chromatic Orb, take Glyph of Warding, and that just gives us another spell to deal with. A lot of our level 1 spell slots will end up getting used by our shield, so yeah, that's kind of the main focus of them. I would say, for this level, that it's best to go with probably Warcaster can be nice. Use a reaction to cast Shock and Grasp with target movement out of melee range. I don't love that. Another choice is actually Lucky, because this goes together well with the Divination Wizard. So you get 3 luck points, which you can use to get advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws. Some people really might go with the Lucky perk because of just the huge benefit that it brings. I think that it's best to go with an ability score improvement, take our intelligence up though. +1 spell attack rolls. That's huge. And spell save DC. Very massive, so we'll go with that. As for level 5 spells, we're going to get Conjure Elemental and Cone of Cold. These are 2 incredible spells because Conjure Elemental, we can make an ice or a water elemental. Its attacks will apply vulnerability to ice damage or cold damage, and then we can go and spam Cone of Cold, which does upwards of 128 damage, doubled from our Conjure Elemental. So that's incredibly good. At level 10, we get to choose another cantrip, Bone Chill. This is going to be very useful in Act 3. And for our next level spell, Hold Monster. Hold Monster is really good, just because there's some targets that will resist, obviously, Hold Person, and being able to hold a monster in place and attack it from 3 meters and get critical hits is massive. So all the extra damage die do add up. And for our next level spell, some people like Cloud Kill. Dominate Person can be decent. Even going back, Sleet Storm is a good spell. Really just depends. Cloud kill can be okay. Poison damage is just not that good. So you can learn a bunch of spells from scrolls, and at this point in the game, you're probably going to want to. I'm going to prepare Hold Monster there. The nice thing is you're going to get some spells in Act 3 that you can't learn. You have to get them from the scroll. So things like Artistry of War, Dethrone, and the Summon Steely Diva are 3 of the spells that we can learn from scrolls that we can't get upon level up. At level 11, though, we get awesome choices here. Chain Lightning and Globe of Invulnerability. So 10 to 18 damage, so that's upwards of 160 with Create Water. That is a massive, and it jumps to 3 other targets within 18 meters. We also get Globe of Invulnerability, which is a game winner, simply put. So you create a barrier and you become immune to damage. Your whole team can go inside it. This will win you encounters. It's just seriously that good. Odaluk's Freezing Spear is another one that I really like, but it's just not as good as the other two. So yeah, Auto Zero Resistible Dance is another choice you could go with, but I think for a level 6 spell, it's best to have Chain Lightning, and then also having Globe of Invulnerability as a backup plan is huge. The Divination Wizard, I think, fits best with that. Now, we can go with another leveled spell and choose another couple level 6 spells, but I think the best choice is actually to add in... We had 2 options. We can add in the Sorcerer at the... Typically, we want to add the Sorcerer at the start, and we could take the White Draconic Sorcerer to get Armor of Agathis. This will also give us the Mage Armor that's built into the character, which is really nice. I think the Cleric's the best add-in, because we get ourselves a Radiant damage option, which is not amazing, but it's something. We also get Guidance, and we get Guidance. It's a Divination cantrip, so we already had that. But I think that the best choice is actually the Tempest Domain. Even though we already have those spells too, they're going to be prepared at all times. And the subclass Reaction allows you to do 2 to 16 lightning or thunder damage as a reaction. So the wizard, despite Portent Dice being a reaction, you don't actually use up your reaction with it, so it's best to actually use it on something like the Tempest Domain, I think. Because this is going to give us heavy armor. The nice thing about the subclass features is you get them on level up. So we do get that heavy armor and martial weapon proficiencies, which is not amazing for us, but it's something. And then we can get Create Water. Create Water is amazing because that'll double the damage of our lightning and cold spells. Healing Word's another option for a bonus action. If you have a teammate that went down, you can pick them up with this. But I just think that Create Water is huge. So this is nice because that gives us gives us the armor proficiencies. So we're going over to the gear now. So with light armor, we got ourselves a measly 19 armor class. Not amazing. If we equip something like the Dexterity Gauntlets, we can get that up to 21. So it's a little bit better. But we could also alternatively just add in like a medium armor. So this one gives us 27 armor class. So we're very tanky in that. Or really any heavy armor. Although that will lower armor classes a little bit. Armor persistence is really nice because it gives Blade Ward and resistance. So we have plus 1d4 saving throws and resistance to physical damage. You can also go with the Helldusk armor if you really want to ball out. But even the Armor of Agility gives us a really high armor class because it adds our Dexterity modifier to it as well and gives us a plus 2 to saving throws. This will minus damage by 2. I think that the armor persistence is solid for this. We get the Hood of the Weave, plus 2 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. That's incredible. Armor protection, evasive shoes, and ring of protection for plus 3 armor class. It gives us a bit more survivability. Markaheshkir Staff is massive. One of your casters should always have this. However, at earlier levels, there's a lot of really great spells. The Morning Frost being one that I really enjoy early on in the game because it deals additional cold damage. And that one can run you the whole game. Spell Sparkler is great too early game. And even something like the, I guess, Defender Flail, since we have proficiencies now, this will give us increased armor class and reduce incoming damage by 1. So if you don't really want to use a staff, you can go that route, but I'll show you why we want to use this one. And I also have the Coruscation Ring, which gives radiating orbs on the target because we have the Gaunter Mail. So whenever we deal spell damage, because we're illuminated by this, we're going to stack radiating orbs. Also, I really like the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies to add reverberation stacks because we're going to be dealing lots of Thunder, Lightning, and Radiant damage with this build, so it just pairs very well. And since we're wearing heavy armor, we don't need that extra armor class from Dexterity, so we can go with something like this. Now, the typical way about doing combat, not proficient with equipped armor. I'm confused because we do have the heavy armor. Oh, I didn't finish the level up. That's why. So yeah, from taking that extra level in Cleric, we do get the extra benefits of all of that. I don't know why that didn't count. I remember doing the level up, but yeah, there we go. Now we have proficiency. That was weird. So yeah, we're back to that 26 armor class, but we do have that. We're allowed to cast spells again. Yippee. Now, we want to conjure minor elementals, and the ice methods are really great choices for that. And alongside that, we can also conjure a water elemental, because they can do... they're going to give us vulnerability to water damage on targets that they hit. So you'd typically want to start with them doing their punch attack. Creates a puddle of water around them. So you just go in and you do something like this, get them to attack. Now they're chilled and wet, so... that is a nice benefit, and then we can just go in and drop the bomb here with our chain lightning, or lightning bolt there. I accidentally killed my summons. But yeah, you can see we got radiating orbs stacked up on them, and for some reason reverberation won't stack on your own party, but it would normally under normal circumstances. Create water is typically how we want to start combat, because you're going to be able to apply vulnerability to your damage types, and then you can drop something like chain lightning, 98 damage. Incredible amounts. That would one-shot him. I fell on ice. Random ice appeared there. But yeah, then you can also electrocute people, and they're all taking like 8 damage, which is incredible amounts of damage. We won't get to see the Portent dice in action, but we do get the third eye, see invisibility, so that's nice. And then also the dark vision. So we got 2 of those spells, which are okay. Like, it's nice to have them. They last until long rest there. It's just a good thing to have. Doesn't require a spell slot, so just a nice little bonus. We got our Arcane Recovery, Classic, Shock and Grasp if someone gets close to us, Thunder Wave if someone gets close to us near an edge. And then on top of all that, we got our Kreska's Favor. So this gives us the Bolts of Doom and the Frost the Dark Winter. These are 2 amazing ones. So we get Cone of Cold or Chain Lightning. And when we cast this, we're going to get increased damage to our lightning spells. So you're going to see here, if we land this at 30 damage, we're doing tons of damage. We're stacking radiating orbs. It's just absolutely powerful. There we go. We're about to miss it. Now we can use our Portent dice. So you can see there we used up both our Portent dice just to get a hit off. But yeah, that's the thing is with this we have an ability to stack up survivability, I guess. In honor mode, the Portent dice become extremely useful, because that could mean it saves you from dying, which is massive. But as you can see, we deal a ton of damage between our cold and lightning spells. It's typically the best way to deal damage. We also have things like Scorching Ray, which are a good choice too. You can even get a critical hit off. Like, that was 60-some damage right then and there. Incredible. So we got lots of options and lots of ways to hit targets. So that's I guess the best part about this wizard is the great ability to overcome a failed throw. Wow, 74 damage on that. That was crazy. 74 from what says max damage of 48. So you can see that this is a pretty good build with Create Water. So there it is, the Divination Wizard in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you all in the next video.